From the Southwest District's perspective, quality is the game. That's the biggest impactor on our springs, at least within our district, we feel. And it's not just nutrients. There are other issues besides nutrients, and I'll show you that. I expressed earlier that we believe we have additional quantities that can be permitted within our springs area. Just to give you some perspective, in our Rainbow Springs, we think there's about 20 million gallons of groundwater withdrawals occurring. Much of that is metered. Tampa Bay Water, in their consolidated permit for their well fields, withdraws 90 million gallons. And if you look at the Southern Water Use Caution Area, the southern part of our district, agriculture accounts for about 650 million gallons of water. 20 million is a pretty small amount, just perspective numbers. So let me jump into the water quality. And as you can see, Rainbow is the spring that has the highest nutrient concentration within our district, 2.37. And you can see the other springs in various, these are springs within springs groups. So Kings Bay has a number of different springs that are individually tested. And again, Rainbow's the highest. But one good thing you can see, and we've seen this on a number of springs, is that spring level, the nutrient levels have started to level out to some degree in several springs. In fact, in our Crystal Springs system in Pasco County, we've seen declines that we almost, what we think is going on is there's been a land use change from agricultural to residential. It's accounted for some of that nutrient reduction, and that's a 20-year travel time. So those changes took place 20 years ago, and we're seeing those impacts now at the springs. The other thing that's important here is to look at the difference of the scales. Kings Bay, those levels of nutrients are down around the 0.2, 0.3. That red line there is the TMDL. So a number of our springs aren't even close to, well, they're close, but they're not exceeding the total maximum daily load right there. One of the big drivers we feel in a lot of our coastal springs, and 4 of our systems, 3 for sure are very coastal, Kings Bay, Homosassa, and Chassahowiska, is, did I jump ahead? There we go, is salinity. And this shows 3 different drivers of salinity right here. First of all, storm surges. This is Kings Bay, and the peaks you see there are salinity increases due to the three hurricanes that came through in 2004. Francis, Ivan, and Jean was the last one. I can't hardly see it. And so you can see big changes. That salinity change has had a profound impact on the biology of Kings Bay. In fact, the recent storm that just went through, Hermine, we saw in some of the test plots we have at Kings Bay where it killed off the hydrilla completely, and we're trying to grow Vallisneria back. The Vallisneria was left intact, and the hydrilla killed off. So we think the salinity is going to be a huge, important factor going forward, and that, again, goes to the bottom graph there, sea level rise. Sea level's been rising. This is Cedar Key sea level. And obviously that's going to change salinity in a lot of our coastal systems. Rainfall patterns also. This shows rainfall from Bagley Cove, flow measurement with rainfall on top, and you can see that as rainfall goes up, our salinity tends to go up as well. The other big important factor with quality is turbidity. We've established quantifiable objectives for water clarity on each of our 5 spring systems. And you can see the quantifiable objectives. For example, on Rainbow, we want to have over 100 feet of visibility. The current conditions we saw in July are 64 feet. This is something we're going to continue to track, implement those management actions, and hopefully see improvements through time in our clarity of our systems. I think that's one of the things we identified early on, is that many people equate good springs with clear water. So this is going to be a big metric for us going forward. Bob wanted to talk a little bit about trace constituents in springs, and the district has sampled things like organics, trace metals, and we have seen certain hits in certain springs. Probably the worst spring we have for these sort of things are Sulphur Springs in Tampa. It's a very heavily populated spring recharge area and has a lot of stormwater input into it. Buckhorn Springs, which is also in Hillsborough County, has seen organic hits. Most of our metals hits have been for aluminum, manganese, and arsenic, and we have seen some chloroform hits, weird things, but this is all data that's been collected up to about 2010. And we also keep track of nitrogen isotopes. Nitrogen isotopes can tell you if your source of your nutrients is from organic sources like septic tanks or inorganic, which is your fertilizers. And one other thing I'd like to mention that I think is a very valuable piece of water quality and water quantity within our district is we've established surface water improvement and management plans for all 5 of our first magnitude springs. And as a part of that, we've also taken a page from the national estuary programs that are within our district. We have 3 of those, including Tampa Bay Estuary Program, and everyone probably knows the Tampa Bay Estuary Program. And Tampa Bay itself is one of the resounding success stories in the nation of turnaround in water quality and improvement in water quality. So we've taken a page from how they've tackled their issues, and we're tackling it through what we call our Springs Coast Steering Committee. And again, you can see the mission. The structure is 3 different committees where we try and have groups come together to discuss what we can do to improve the springs. The steering committee is made up by mostly governmental entities, Citrus County, Marion County, Water Management District, but FDACS is clearly involved, as well as Fish and Wildlife. We have a technical working group where we get technical folks from all the areas together. And again, the idea is to complete the swim plans, which we completed 2 of them. We're finishing the 3 others by next summer, and then start implementing all the projects that are identified in those plans.